Hello and welcome to the holiest place of all of real-time strategy. This is Settins, and this is the semifinal of the Immortals trophy. Rise of the Immortals, we are in the semifinal, and some four extremely good players in this one. On the bottom, the Brain Fart and Brainwashy, another team from Germany, taking on Crazy Chariot and Black Death. We're seeing quite a bit of Cybern. Both beach players going with Cybern. Hell, Americans. So one thing about Crazy Chariot and Black Death, of course, they beat two Germans, Voodoo and Kocher, in the quarterfinals, and now they're up against another German team. The other semifinal, of course, is GG No Re, together with C Solar, and that's France, together with Hungary, I believe. Yeah, France, Hungary versus either Americans or Germans. That's going to be the final. But of course, great map choice, Settins. 2v2, they're playing from the beach and the rock spot. There was some argument that it probably should be rock and middle, so there is a little more ACU on ACU action, because right now a really big part of this game for both teams is who gets the 12,000 mass that's in the middle. And that's really, you can't really go running there with ACU. You're going to have to do drops. So we're seeing second air from Crazy Chariot. We're seeing second air from Black Death. And this may be very similar for a beach or a rock spot who, in a regular Settins games, you got to get that island as fast as possible. Usually also second air. Brainwash second air. So, no, second land from Brain Fart. Second Navy, sorry. So in terms of air, it's going to be 2 versus 1, which should give a big advantage to the top side in terms of who gets the middle, because air is going to be the one that gets there fast. The transports, the bombers. Walking to the middle is going to take a long time. We're actually seeing on the ground Black Death with Manti, Crazy Chariot with Mech Marines. We do see now multiple scouts though for Brainwash. He is going to spot there's units in the middle. That should give him some concern. But of course, this naval from Brain Fart could be very interesting. It's 2 naval factories. He might try to do a Tech 2 naval rush, something along those lines. And of course, usual players are used to playing Settins 4 players. There's so many more mass extractors, so it's 12 to store 48 on the bottom, plus another 5. So just a single side has 48 mass extractors, which is just too much for one player. The ecos get huge so fast. So it's really a race through all the techs. Build capacity becomes a limiting factor. And here we saw something very important, a successful drop from Crazy Chariots. Engineers in the middle from the top side. Huge advantage. We also see the ACUs walk in there as well. And it looks like only Brain Fart's ACU. So far it looks quite good for the top side team. Successful bomb though from Brainwashed with Seraphim. He is the Seraphim player. So we got a little bit of anisotropy here with Seraphim on rock for the Brains. Crazed going with the UEF. That's interesting. Really spraying out his power. And also Navy for Craze. So both players here on the bottom ocean going pretty heavy Navy. That's an NG from Brain Fart. He's actually trying to get a little bit of this mass. Seen a lot of flak. Manti is running back from Black Death. They got to kill this NG before he gets a whole bunch of free mass. But that's most likely all the mass is going to be gotten. A drop from Brainwashed. So Brainwashed single-handedly trying to take on 2 different players. He needs to get a point defense or something fast. He's going to grab a bit of mass. So Brainwash doing a good job. He will get at least a little bit of this mass, but the Manti come in. There they are going to clean up. Successful drop, but denied, and now total air control from Black Death. Black Death also going with 4 naval factories. Brainwash still 0 Navy. He's been really heavy on air. But in spite of that, he's still about to lose air completely. We do see flag coming up for Brainwashed. Tech 2 Navy. So this wasn't surprising, I guess, based on how quickly Brain Fart went into the Navy. Trying to pull out an old naval rush, going very quick Tech 2 submarine. Tech 2 sub, that's stealth, so there's no way for Craze to actually see that it's there. Of course, it just passed up most of this naval production. It's going to be very difficult to kill. We do see now some torpedo launcher, so that's going to take a little bit of micro from Brain Fart to kill that. And a cruiser. So submarine plus a cruiser, a really good combo. Air fight seems to still be won by the top side, but it's not quite even. Brainwash taking over the middle together with Brainfart, but the middle absolutely dominated by Craze Chariot. They got so much more reclaim. But this is going to be interesting. This submarine, oh no, it's torpedo launchers. That submarine, as long as it stays away from those torpedo launchers, will be in good shape, and it completely retreats. And this is a unit that Brainfart does not want to lose. Give really good cover for his cruiser. It's coming in together with a mermaid, so he's going to have total stealth. You can see the submarine is very powerful against Tech 1. Taking out some frigates. Massive air coming in from Black Death, and Brainwash is just getting into the Navy. That could be a problem for him because this is a massive Tech 1 Navy, actually already Tech 2. So Black Death way ahead in terms of Navy. Also retreating with his ACU. The middle looks like it's going to be mostly uncontested. The submarine now with 2 kills. The cruiser moving in. Of course, the cruiser with range will be able to pick off all these units. Air is going to be very critical in this position. Looks like I did miss some stuff. There's a bunch of dead. Apologize for these. Must have been a drop. Perhaps some Arty from Brainwashed. Yeah, this is good micro using stealth, Cybern. As long as this cruiser stays away, of course the submarine gives him perfect recon on that Navy. So early victories for Brainfart. And Black Death with a massive Air Force once again moving in. And this Tech 1 Navy is going to create all kinds of problems for Brainwashed, who does not have a single naval unit yet. Well, there's multiple Tech 2 naval units coming in. So things aren't really looking good in the top ocean. In the middle is just Tech 1. But now it does look like all the mass spots have been covered for both sides. We already see some Tech 2 mask tractors for Craze Chariot. Craze Chariot is going to have a huge eco. And yet another successful drop. This must be the thing I missed last time. So multiple successful drops from Brainwashed. We are seeing some Tech 2 power from Craze Chariot and Tech 2 air. And now that there is Tech 2 air, this cruiser does have to be somewhat careful. It is vulnerable to multiple torpedo bombers. But actually, yeah, now a destroyer coming in, just not enough firepower for Brainfart to really deny this naval production. Now with a whole bunch of frigates, we do see Craze Chariot is not a noob to sentence. He knows that a counter to quick tech is a massive Tech 1 frigate spam, and we're seeing that in action right now. It is denying this Tech 2 Navy from Brainfart the opportunity to stop naval production. We do see a retreat. This frigate's going to be critical. Now this destroyer was very timely for Brainfart. Should be able to take care of the rest of these units. But a bit of a micro mistake perhaps, yes. Losing that cruiser was huge for Brainfart. He could have just kept it out of range. Naval production denied. Brainwash now dropping in. He's going to try to get more naval factories going, and now we're seeing destroyers. Should see cruisers soon from Black Death. And now a bit of an assault coming in at Tech 1 from Brainfart. There is a bit of naval support though from Black Death. Frigates don't have a long range, but if you stand next to them, they will kill you. Quite powerful compared to a Tech 1 land unit. Also multiple Tech 1 point defenses, so good defense against the Tech 1 force for the top side. Nobody's got this island yet. That's quite surprising. We do see a bunch of drops from Brainwash. And yet another drop now from Brainfart. Looks like he's got some Seraphim units. This must have been a gift from... this is a really nice drop. That's going to deny both of these factories. Must have been a gift from Brainwashed. And multiple destroyers. The submarine from beginning with 8 kills. Of course, now the destroyer is vulnerable to Tech 1 or Tech 2 gunships. Those gunships are going to deny this Arty, but the Arty do kill 2 factories in a massive air fight. That's going to be very critical. We don't see any more cruisers coming in, but a massive naval production from Brainfart. Meanwhile, all kinds of problems for Black Death. We do see a hasty Tech 2 destroyer from Brainwash that's just beginning to be made. He really needs a couple good Tech 2 units to stay in his ocean. We already see Tech 2 Navy coming in from Black Death. So tech to air is going to be critical. We are seeing that the air has been won by Gray's Chariot, which means the tech to Navy without that cruiser support. And that's when we see that small mistake, letting that cruiser get killed by frigates, made a huge effect. Because it's not likely that Gray's Chariot would be able to win a Tech 1 air battle over a cruiser. Also torpedo bombers from Black Death. So this is getting pretty crazy now. Brainfault calling a GG already. Well, he's just... It's so demoralizing seeing such a large Tech 2 force. And they really must know that in late game, once you see Tech 2 Navy from... yeah, if you're pretty screwed, but that's a little early. I don't think this is still so early. But a very strong Tech 2 Air Force is definitely demoralizing to somebody whose original strategy was a naval rush. Also big problems for Brainwashed. He did get a destroyer, but he needs a lot more to deal with that force. Air fight continues, and actually it looks like all those gunships have been destroyed. So the Brains working together have won air control, which did cost quite a few really nice units for Gray's Chariot. Gray's Chariot does have a couple of destroyers, so it's going to take a lot of units from Brainfart to do anything about it. But Black Death, meanwhile, total domination. Brainwash neglecting a Navy, which is really... he's really paying the price for it now. So to even this out, Brainfart needs to come up with a crazy Navy and go in. Besides those naval battles, we've seen some Tech to air, some Tech to power, and really the big thing that has happened is naval domination in the top ocean. Otherwise, it is quite even. Two ACUs working together, Brainfart and Brainwashed, getting Tech to power in the middle. Looking at the base, we do see quite a few Tech 2 mask tractors. Pretty big Tech 1 air spam. Surprisingly, this Tech 2 Navy is still alive. Multiple destroyers able to be produced by Brainwash, which is a bit of a mistake, I think, from Black Death. They could have killed those engineers, because now it's going to be more and more difficult to deal with these. So when you get close to these destroyers, they're quite good. They don't miss with that laser. Now the range. 4 Tech 2 units from Cybern, and it was just a glimmer of hope, but it was it's just not going to happen unless a huge Tech 2 naval presence is the only hope for Brainwashed. We see now Tech 2 flak in support of the Navy, a big naval battle, multiple destroyers and cruiser for EEF. We do see just a single Tech 2 unit, it's mostly frigates. But a pretty big submarine force, which is nice. The EF weak against submarines. Looks like the cruiser is the one unit that's being targeted. And actually these Tech 1 subs might take it out. Frigates following up. So another victory for Brainfart, but of course it isn't going to win him the entire ocean. Tech 2 air coming out for Brainwash, trying to deal with this air. He's got to take out that cruiser. Already sitting, actually multiple cruisers. 21 kills on one, 13 on the other. We're seeing Black Death really helping out his ally with those torpedo bombers. Actually, this Tech 2 air working out quite well. Gunships. Cybern, of course, with no shields, very vulnerable. And Tech 2 air, just like we saw Gray's Chariot, completely deny that early Cybern Navy. We're now seeing the exact same thing on the other side. Tech 2 gunships from Brainfart. It is going to give Brainwashed hope, who's got a whole bunch of engineers now moving out into the water. More Tech 2 ships and the cruiser coming in. So this air battle is going to be critical. It does look like the Americans, Black Death and Gray's Chariot do have numbers, and they do have cruisers to fight over. Actually, multiple cruisers moving in. And it looks like these gunships might die before they kill that destroyer. Do we see any shields yet? We do see torpedo boats. So Gray's Chariot is going to deny that submarine force. Multiple destroyers not coming in. Not a lot of build capacity for brain fart on this Tech 2. Quite a bit of Tech 1. And the metal's still dead even. Really, this battle started with much better airplay from the top side, 2 versus 1. It did take quite a bit more mass. And of course, successful defense against the naval rush by Gray's Chariot. Those are 2 things that are really difficult to deal with early on for brainwash and brain fart. So far the Americans given a lot of problems to Germans. And of course, both of these teams went through their group. They were first place, undefeated. So they are completely undefeated up to this point. Who did the Brains beat in quarterfinals? I have no memory. Well, maybe I'll remember at some point. I'm sure most of you guys remember. And now Shields. Now, as soon as you see Shields from UEF, it's quite depressing for everybody else. It's interesting how the submarines go underneath the destroyers. Together they can use their anti-torpedo defense, so it's much harder to kill these units when they're together. It's kind of like shields underwater. There come the shields. More Tech 1 Navy also planned for Gray's Chariot. And I'll actually speed this up a little bit. They got ASF over cruisers against Tech 1. A lot of torpedo bombers. Oh wow. Those are pretty terrible torpedoes there from Seraphim. Seraphim torpedo bombers notoriously useless. We've just seen that. Looks like they just get scared by the torpedo defense. It just confuses those torpedoes. But they all completely went through that ship. Very even naval battle in the other ocean. But now we are seeing Cyber Navy. How many times on sentence have players met this fate? Yeah, that's funny. But this is something very difficult to deal with. The Cyber Navy coming in. They got long range. They can reach in further than either Seraphim or EEF. Seraphim, EEF, of course, can reach a little bit. They can hit these. And Cyber is just deadly. Plus, now they're going to deny this other naval factory, and then they can walk and walk in all up in your base. And shields. It does look like we're going to see mixing here. But of course, this is not a regular settings game, so I'm assuming they didn't agree to some mixing rules. So that seems fine to me. Of course, if you're usually a settings player, something like this is quite disturbing, because if you take Cyber Navy with their superior destroyers and cruisers and you put UEF shields on it, it's just an unbeatable combination. It's just purely UEF so far from Crazed. Not a lot left for brain fart. So it looks like both Black Death and Gray's Chariot are going to win their individual battles. And once you win both navies on sentence, it's a matter of time before you die. Unless you got some crazy plan with some snipe or something like that. Gray's Chariot can gain Tech 2 or Tech 3 power generation. Tech 3 power generation for Black Death. Huge ecos. Black Death very safe under multiple shields. An ASF battle. So got a bit of ASF production from Brainwashed. And this is why these destroyers from Cyber, they're just very mean. You think this mass extractor, Tech 3 mass extractor, is safe behind a mountain. They'll walk around it and kill it. Very close air battle, and gunships from Brainwashed are going to die before they are able to kill the gunships, before they're able to kill the destroyers. And total naval loss for brain force. So they gotta think of a snipe. Strike bombers, teleports, winning air, because they are gonna have a lot less eco. We can see the basis for the top side, absolutely pristine. A lot of Tech 2 mass extractors. No fighting has really gone on there. Most of the fighting was in the water. Strat Bombers from Brainfart. He's going to get a bunch of stealthy. Now Brainwash realizing he's pretty screwed. 40 kills, 30 kills. Making it all the way to the naval production. So Brainwash especially is... yeah. Quite one-sided. Of course, Chariot has played quite a few Settings games. I've seen him play very well from Rock. He decided not to do his ACU drop. Playing a lot safer. Probably a good idea. But I remember Brainfart, I believe, was much better on Settings, but I haven't seen him there for a long time. You gotta say, he did play quite well. With that early naval rush, it just didn't quite work out. Those gunships from Crazy Chariot denied that, but also starting Settings without really challenging for the middle is going to get you in trouble. You're going to be on the back foot the whole time. Massive Navy now. A whole bunch of Strat Bombers, gunships, a lot of Strat Bombers from Brainfart. They're moving out. They're going to fly over a bunch of cruisers. That will be a problem. Oh, this is not where you want to fly. Strat Bombers took a lot of hits, and now, yeah, so it looked good while it was over their own base, but now it just flew into a cloud of Grace Chariot's ASF, and that sucks. So the attack is now going to happen. Well, they were on their way. Find the ACUs. Black Death underwater. And there's really no guns left, just some gunships. And that's why winning Navy is so nice. Spread cruisers all over the place, and the angles of attack are really narrowed for the other side through the air. Surprisingly, these are still alive. Neglected Island. Brainwash throws in the towel. So does Brainfart. A great victory, 30-minute victory for Black Death and Crazy Chariot, who continue their absolute domination over Germans.
Hello and welcome to the semifinal of the Rise of the Immortals trophy, where we are in game 2 between the Brains and Deathly's Rage. So Crazy Chariot versus Brainwash. The first game was a victory, really a great victory for Crazy Chariot. Black Death absolutely dominated the Brains. The Brains, looks like in the first game, chose Brainwashed versus Crazy Chariot, both playing Seraphim. Map I've never seen before. It looks pretty cool. I actually just had to download it. And another reminder how Forge Alliance Forever takes care of you in all situations. You just click on the replay and automatically connects and gets the map for you. So players who keep asking, can I get some map or something? If you got the replay for it, it'll get it for you automatically. It looks like some rocks from a Mars planet stuck on a green planet. That looks pretty cool. Actually, see, it's a bunch of little mountains, so a lot of terrain, water in the middle, perhaps some rocks. These should be, I have no idea how much mass is in those, but there is rocks scattered all over the place, also rocks in the middle. Not surprising, we do see Seraphim from both players. Floating Artie is going to be absolutely beautiful on this map. Hayon would also been a good choice, and it looks like a little ponds here in the side, so 2 choke points to fight. And of course, those ponds are great places if you want to hide an ACU that has been damaged. And interesting design. Looks like some mountains that would protect these battles from a naval assault. So overall, a pretty cool map. Can't really see the mask structure because of all the green, but it looks like there's quite a few spread out. High places that you might not be able to walk onto. There's a Hydra with a bunch of mass. So airdrops to every single one of the corners. Looks interesting. There is Hydras here in the opposite quarters. So unless you really know this map, you're probably in trouble. So it's whoever played this more is going to get a huge advantage. See a lot of reclaim for Brainwash. That's one trick. You can actually reclaim very quickly if you build over it. A scout coming out for Brainwashed. He did go second air, now with an interceptor, so no bomber yet. We did see the exact same thing for Crazy Chariot, but he's getting some engineers, not interceptors. And a Hydra. I didn't even see this Hydra. Crazy Chariot moving out. He's going straight to the middle. ACU for Brainwashed is going to go on the left side. Actually has a whole bunch of plans for the left side with the ACU. Climbing over this mountain. So the middle is going to belong to Crazed Chariot, the left to Brainwashed, and nothing is going to the right side. We saw a scout, not a dive, Brainwashed. Kill for that interceptor. Let's see if those rocks are deemed to be important. Does look like it. Brainwashed is going to grab that mass. Whole bunch of power still. See a bunch of land spam from Crazed Chariot. At least plans still sitting on 2 factories. We've seen the 3rd factory now coming up for Brainwashed to get a whole bunch of reclaim. And a lot more air for Brainwashed. 3 NTs in the middle. See if they land and get shot. It would be kind of silly, but it happens. Yep, nice anti-air from Crazed Chariot. But he is actually just going to build a mass extractor. Almost got it another time. And now we do see units on the right side from Crazed Chariot, so it looks like with the units you might be able to hold on. Not much going to the left. So this map actually seems to be quite big. It might be, it looks like a 10 by 10. So a lot of space to run through. Let's see how much reclaim there actually is here. Minute 4. Actually, already 2,000 reclaim. Huge reclaim on this map. 2,000 for Brainwashed. Crazed Chariot, 5,500 behind. Plus 300 power. Brainwashed a little less power, but a lot more reclaim for Brainwashed. And a lot more air for Brainwashed as well. Seeing these land factories coming up. A lot of trees, so it takes a little while to actually build. A sneaky NG from Brainwashed getting this huge chunk of mass. While Crazed Chariot is going to walk across. Looks like he's going to send his ACU to the other side. He's not going to have too much support, and there's a lot of engineers, so if Brainwashed can spot this early, which he should, he's got a scout flying over Crazed Chariot ACU. He should get ready with some point defenses, and that's exactly what we're seeing, a point defense. And that's going to be a big problem, because now an engineer, a very sneaky one, the Brainwashed is going to come in, is going to grab all this mass and take over the middle. And that's really a testament to total recon from Brainwashed, since he had total air control. Also a bomber for Brainwashed on the left side, looking for any expanding engineers. Meanwhile, Brainwashed is going to retreat once he gets the factory going. The right side, absolutely Crazed Chariot land. Got a bunch of tanks wandering around, and a whole bunch of rocks all over the place in this map. So you really got to know where all the rocks are to play very well on it. That's true for quite a few maps. If you're a first time on a map, it's going to be very difficult for you to play. It's good to see somebody good play the map, figure things out, watch them play, see where they go, what they think is important, and try to copy them, and then you'll find out why that's important. Sneaky tank sneaks by for Crazed Chariot. Of course, there is a bomber looking to kill it. Then on the other side, problems for Crazed Chariot. Actually, it looks like he has no defense here, except a couple engineers trying to get a point defense. So depending how quickly they build this, already see one of these engines dying. Could be a huge loss. And that's just tragic. Crazed Chariot almost finished the point defense. That would have solved all his problems, but he's got absolutely nothing in that area except an engineer is going to die as well. It's a huge problem. Crazed Chariot retreats, running into a point defense. That was one of the most important things that happened in this game, because it's going to be a huge difference in terms of map control and eco. Brainwashed retreating. Still looking for Crazed Chariot's ACU. Crazed Chariot, another air factory, a whole bunch of land. And this looks like firmly is going to belong to Brainwashed. That engine's going to die, he's going to retreat. We're seeing some units moving out. Going to try to defend the mass extractors. Brainwashed already killed 3 mass extractors, looking to kill 3 more. Sneaky tanks for Crazed Chariot as well. You saw them have really good success Oh, actually, now at Tech 2, Grace Chariot playing a Seraphim against Voodoo and Kocher. He had some really sneaky tanks all over the place on Via. This has been a really good tournament. I really like this format. The 2v2s really add something different that we usually see in the 1v1. Definitely an upgrade over the Imba Cups, who were, especially the first one, was excellent. Multiple point defenses, not transport for Brainwashed. And Tech 2 land, we did see those Ulftravas, and with Tech 2 that are moving in on the right side, that's going to be huge problems for Grace Chariot. Nice sneaky tanks for Grace Chariot. We're going to deny mask tractors. But this left side is not as secure as it looked initially. Meanwhile, Chariot taking over the middle with his mask tractor. So the map control is still quite even, but these Ulstras is really quite worrisome. They need point defense quick. But even against 4 or 5 here, it's actually 6. Even a point defense might not be enough. Grace Chariot doing good damage, so Brainwashed beginning to lose map control here slightly. Yeah, absolute disasters. There you see a bunch of tanks moving in now. And an air fight that Grace Chariot has just won. Absolutely even game, but more sneaky tanks. Looks like that problem was solved by the Ulstravas. Let's see how Grace Chariot deals with this threat. So a big air span. Pretty difficult to see because of all the yellow here. Oh, one thing to note, Grace Chariot dropping in, grabbing these top corners. Brainwash is completely neglected him. There's a bunch of master to reclaim. But Grace Chariot does have his, so Crazed in quite a good shape, because that's a total of 7 extra mask tractors. Meanwhile, the Ulstravas run everything over. Still 5 of them alive. Looks like one of them died. And these are going to keep going. But nothing's going to stop them. We do see now Tech 2 mass, though, from Grace Chariot. Tech 2 power. And it does appear to be land as well. So Ulstravas on the right side. Meanwhile, Grace Chariot retreats. No. Changes his mind. ACUs have been absolutely out of this game on this map. Very difficult to really understand what's going on. I think this map would be a little better if it was smaller. But maybe I should just speed it up, and it'll seem smaller. So these Ulstravas still on their way. More scouts from Brainwashed. Now a drop, so a lot better drops from Grace Chariot. Yeah, he's got these 7 mask tractors, probably going to get a Hydra Gain in the factory. And now the very important fight. So do see Tech 2 gunships and Ulstravas. Tech 2 gunships will kill these eventually. Point defense. And these are just going to be juicy mass chunks at this point. It took them such a long time to get here. And by the time they got there, they already are going to die. We do see Brainwash taking over this right side that belonged to Grace Chariot recently. These Ulstravas short-lived. This is actually, from far away, it doesn't look like a very long distance. This is quite a way to walk for some land units. By the time they got there, they were met with some resistance. Gunships now for Crazed. This is going to be a problem for Brainwashed, and it's another successful drop. So all 4 corners now have units from Crazed. Crazed with ACU on the left side. Looks like a drop coming in from Brainwashed. Some engineers, no, it's some tanks. But there is a factory and actually some tanks here as well for Crazed, so that shouldn't have too much success. Gunships running into interceptors from Brainwashed. Important air fight that should be won by Crazed. More air coming in from Brainwashed. Brainwashed thinking about moving in with his ACU, walking underwater. And of course, with Tech 2 air, Grace Chariot, if he spots this ACU, will kill it. More drops coming in from Brainwashed and Tech 2 flak. Not surprisingly, Tech 2 flak very important for Brainwashed. Like successful Ulstrava drop. These are going to be brutal. Excellent work, even though it doesn't have air control, taking the opportunity Well, there was an air fight. Of course, these gunships are going to continue killing. And actually, on this left side, good stuff from Brainwashed. So if you don't count these corners, very even map control, but still Crazed Chariot with significant advantage. And now with these raiders, they will be denied by the Tech 2 gunships. And on a map that's slightly bigger than the regular 5x5, gunships become so critical because they move so much faster, and speed becomes such a huge factor. See these gunships, they got to retreat to the Air Force. See the air production, pretty big. Still just Tech 1 power from Brainwashed. We do see Tech 2 power from Crazed. That's going to give him a huge advantage in terms of air production. So we're seeing first naval factory now from Crazed, which is going straight to Tech 2. Navy with some Seraphim cruisers would be very nice. Another drop coming in from Brainwashed. So Brainwashed has recently been much more active with drops. And now we do see Tech 2 flak coming in from Brainwashed. There is the ACU for Crazed, but if you fly over Tech 2 flak with Tech 1 air, you will lose. And that could be a huge opportunity for Brainwashed, because those gunships have been very nice for Crazed Chariot, and if those are denied, it's really bad news. And successful drop. Expect these gunships to solve that. And we see assaults on both sides from Brainwashed. He's moving in, and he's actually getting victories here, especially on the right side. The ACU coming out of the water. More drops, Tech 1 drops from Brainwashed. And a huge naval build capacity on the Navy. He's going to get that cruiser fast, and that's going to have a huge effect. Let's see if that's a bit of a gamble. That's a lot of mass from Crazed Chariot, but it's clear what he's looking for there. Now the ACU actually for Crazed Chariot running into a very large Tech 2 force. He needs some overcharges. Without overcharges, he will be a bit outgunned. And Crazed Chariot isn't overcharging. That was a good overcharge, but out of nothing. Oh wow. Crazed Chariot really died there for nothing. He had a bunch of gunships. It looks like he just wasn't paying attention. That shouldn't have happened. Brainwashed, I think, really stole that, because this cruiser, that would have been something very difficult to deal with. It would have taken a lot of air that Crazed Chariot didn't have, and this cruiser with the range. So it was really won by Crazed, but Brainwashed steals it, ties it up, and it's going to be the exact same map, Game 3. Brainwashed, it's going to be Brain Fart versus Black Death. I'm really looking forward to that one. Hello and welcome to the third game in this semifinal of the Rise of the Immortals trophy. We just saw Brainwashed steal one from Crazed Chariot. Crazed Chariot was about to seal the deal with a 2-0 victory, but it is going to go down to Game 3. A lot of pressure on now Black Death to not let the Brains complete the comeback. Of course, Black Death and Crazed Chariot have already beat some Germans, Voodoo and Kocher. But Brain Fart now one game away from avenging and leaving the final completely without Americans, which I guess would not be surprising given this game is much more popular in Europe. Once again, this map that I haven't seen before seems to be pretty interesting, and we are seeing once again Seraphim from the Brains. But Black Death, unlike his ally, going with Aeon. And also quite nice with tanks, of course scouts that can go on water. It's really one of the main advantages, a scout that can go on water from your land factory early on. Huge advantage, a map like this, much quicker. Looking for any bombers that might be coming in. But it is going to be second land from Brainfart with a Hydro. This is the close Hydro second air build. You go 4 P-Gens and you're going to get that Hydro just in time for the air production, because you know when you don't have the Hydro close, you got to get at least 6 P-Gens. So good stuff from Brainfart. We do see flares on either side from Black Death, and I'll be very curious to see the impact of the auroras on this game. Here comes the second air. A lot more power from Black Death. See a little later Hydro. Of course, if you go with that quick Hydro build. A lot of your early engineers tied up on that Hydro aren't expanding to grab mass. It's really a judgment call. Flare dies and Scout dies. Good defense from Brainfart. On the other side, looks like the Flare passes up the tank, but it will run into Brainfart's ACU. First kill for Brainfart. Well, Brainfart's ACU got 2 more on this tank. So far, victories against the Black Death, 3-0. Black Death with the ACU moving out to the middle. Well, Brainfart on the right side. Multiple land factories, 3rd land factory. An air fight, some scouts that is won by Black Death over his own base. More NTs for Brainfart. He doesn't have really too much power. Well, he does not have an engineer dedicated to a power build. Neither does Black Death, however, but a couple more P-gens because of his build for Black Death. And it looks like Brainfart looking to build a huge base here on the right side. The left, he had a whole bunch of tanks just roll through. It's going to be Auroras now. Of course, Auroras with the range. As long as they stay out of range, they will kill you. 3 kills for those 2 Auroras, and there's absolutely nothing now on the left side. And should win Tech 2, very quick Tech 2 from Brainfart. The Ilshevas were great in the last game. Of course, they're still outranged by the Auroras, but way more health. See, 140 health versus 250. 2,500. So nearly about 16, 17 times more health per unit Aurora versus the Ilsheva. Ilsheva also very quick for micro. Auroras are quite slow and cumbersome, but they do have the range. Expect those Ilshevas to get a lot of kills, a lot of errancy. Factory in the middle for Black Death. Let's see how Black Death actually reacts to its quick second land, Tech 2 land. He's using his transports to grab the size of Sakurai's chariot. Used that, really got a much better situation going until he threw that game away because Brainwashed was really out of ideas. He just had those 2 Tech 2 land forces moving in. Successful Navy, Crazy Chariot. Crazy Chariot really had those sides covered. I was seeing Black Death, just like his allies, taking the time to grab those. Sneaky tank, 4-kill tank. An Aurora killer here in the back. It looks like he's going to kill some more engineers. And now he's going to be outrange by this Aurora and he's going to die. This is the Ilsheva, 10 kills already. And now that is brutal. And now something has to be done by Black Death because he will not be able to deal against the Ilshevas with just Auroras unless it's like at least a 10-to-1 ratio, probably even more than that. So he would have to go either Tech 2 himself or no, he's going Tech 2 air. So he's going to try to take air control with gunships, deny those Ilshevas. Don't see any flak yet. And actually a hover tank. Very rare units for Seraphim, but actually quite useful in some situation. Perhaps a map like this where Artie is just not good enough. Because the Auroras are a big pain. And now another Ilsheva. So Brainfight with those Ilshevas getting victory. And Ilsheva on the other side, 13 kills. This Ilsheva here with 11. You can see just on both sides running everything over. Black Death in quite a bit of trouble. Brainfart with 4 land factories on the right side, very secure, and that's where Black Death is coming out. He doesn't look like he should be able to take over. He's way behind. On the other side, still domination for Brainfart. And now, oh, this 15 kills finally gets killed by that Aurora. Looks like it got hit by a couple Arties. On the other side, 14 kills. Black Death still got his mountains. He's got 3 of them. There's another one on the bottom. Isn't claimed by anybody, but more Ilshevas on the way. Great stuff from Brainfart. Brainfart really chose a much better strategy on this map. And it's, I'm sorry to say, but it looks like it will be a short game. We do see now Tech 2 land and Tech 2 engineers for Black Death. And Z here. 3 kills. Will get killed. But a massive land assault. Point defense is trying to do something about it. It's a bunch of Tech 1 units. 1 kill. You see so much empty space everywhere. Black Death doesn't really have any map control. And now successful counter drop from Brainfart is going to deny 4 mask extractors. See here, Black Death forced into the water. Wasn't able to build on the right side. There's no way he's going to get that. Some floating arty from Brainfart. He's going to attack the middle. This is really bad. Now some point defenses. It looks like it will be successfully defended. Oh no, this Oshua killed the point defense, and now Tech to Power is undefended. Obsidian moving in, but if that Tech to Power is taken out as it is, Obsidian was just a little late. Huge losses for Black Death, and this is almost a point where you might have to just give it up. He does have nice tech. He has a little bit of map control, but he lost a huge portion of his power. He's got to get that back. And map control definitely not in his favor, and more assaults moving in. It looks like it's going to be a drop coming in. And total air domination. Yeah, this is... looks like it's going to be a successful comeback. So that really makes that last air by Trace Chariot. He had this deal sealed. So that's how close, really, that cruiser. And a bit of a micro mistake, I really think Trace Chariot should have been able to win that fight with his ACU if he would have paid attention, maybe brought his gunships in. He should not have died like that. Black Death very much outgunned. So vengeance for the Germans. These Ilsha was just, I think Ilsha was really made for this map. Perfect choice of unit. Obsidians would also be pretty nice. Yeah, nothing that those Auroras can do. Seen Black Death just walking around in the ocean most of this game. Some scouts. Black Death looking to see what he can do with his ACU. And yet another assault and Tech to Power was rebuilt. And it does look like the towel was thrown in. A loss for Deathly's Rage. They were absolutely brutal this entire tourney. Really lost in uncharacteristic fashion here. But they were facing the Brains. Brains now in the semifinal. So it should be... Actually, no, they're in the final. This was the semifinal. So the Brains, congratulations to the Brains, went completely undefeated. They are going to go in the final against either GG No Re or Tag, Tonal Nation Gods. Two extremely good teams as well. Hopefully people enjoy this one.